In India, cricket's roots run deep. But until the IPL came along, from a pool of millions, only a few dozen could harbour the hope to make a living from cricket as players. Experts we spoke with say that's a problem which cannot be fixed until club and district level cricket starts attracting eyeballs and major sponsors. Delhi, which has been known to give the country players like the current Indian team coach Gautam Gambhir, Virender Sehwag, Virat Kohli, Ashish Nehra, among others, has taken a league in that direction with Delhi Premier League, a T20 franchise cricket tournament along the lines of the IPL. Organised by the Delhi and District Cricket Association, the brainchild of current DDCA President Rohan Jaitley. In the inaugural year, the league saw the participation of 6 teams, each representing different zones of the Union Territory of Delhi.
See, the intent on the Premier League is that the player pool in this city, be men or women, is large. And what we are trying to do is simply professionalize it, take a leaf out from the Indian Premier League to make sure that a state level league of a franchisee structure is run, where we were one of the first few associations to actually bring about a women's edition of the Delhi Premier League, which North Delhi Riders won, which North Delhi Strikers won. And the idea and the thought is that if you have the potential and the capability as a player, you should get a platform which is at par of any other international match being hosted at this venue for you to come, perform and deliver. It also is a route and a gateway for white ball selection. Like, you've got domestic season where you've got 50 over tournaments and a T20 tournament which comes by, and when you have a fine level tournament of a professional standard which is organized, then it makes things easier for who will represent your state in the future, because what you see is right in front of you, and that goes down the channel to represent the state and hopefully at some point the country also.
A great platform for players to stake claim to a place in the IPL and the national team, the league saw enthusiastic participation from players who had been waiting for such an opportunity for a while. Himmat Singh, captain of the Delhi Strikers, the winning team of the inaugural season of the league, believes this will help the players get a lot more chances.
I think it was a great initiative taken by Rohan sir and DDCA that they decided to organize the DPL. I think the word had been going on for a long time. All the players were very excited for the DPL, and I'm sure it's going to help them in the upcoming season. They'll be getting a lot more chances than what they were before.
The league, as per many, is already a success in terms of what it set out to achieve. A professional league which is a platform on par with many other international leagues.
In the draft process, we'd created 4 different slabs. The first one was basically the India players that you have today, the capped players. The second one are the IPL players and the players who are playing for the state as of today. So your marquee players in list 1 had India and IPL. List 2 had former IPL and present state players. List 3 had your performers of the under 19 and the under 23, the age group category. And the fourth one was the performers from our DDCA league. That's the domestic club league, and we've got 113 clubs. There are about 1,500 plus games that get hosted every year at different venues across the city for our league matches. And in every division there was a criteria set, and someone who was making that eligibility criteria was brought into the draft process. We had close to about 300 players on the men's side and around 90 players on the women's side who were a part of the draft as per the criteria. Thereon, for the 6 teams, 20 members per team were picked by every team owner, which effectively meant about 120 players on the men's side got an opportunity to play the Delhi Premier League. And we had 4 teams with 16 players on each side, so we had about 75, 78 players roughly on the women's side who were playing the women's edition of the league.
Another challenge for the administration is to train, productively occupy and keep focused the players who are good enough to play in the leagues and perhaps even for the state and the country, but just not yet, or are perhaps going through a rough patch. Delhi has a plan to handle that situation as well, through what the DDCA President Rohan Jaitley calls a high performance group.
So the high performance group, as we call it, is a thought that players who are playing for the state plus the players who are on the cusp of playing for the state. When I say cusp, someone who's in the squad, but let's say doesn't get the playing 11 for the match. Someone who's performing well but is injured, is not playing that season, or is not playing a certain number of games. Idea is that you put a high performance group of players together that train together. It also puts them in a mental space of being as a team, not just during tour, but also round the year.
The group is also a great opportunity for female players in the league to hone their skills.
So the high performance group in the last season was a good success on the women's side, where we actually saw a big number of girls who were a part of that high performance group, which was around 60 players, who would regularly go on a regular basis, and they had the best coaches, they had the best trainers, the best physiotherapists, rehab available, and idea is to make sure that they are able to get that final finesse to their skill to bring the best that they have to offer when they play for the state.
The question of domestic contracts at league level and pay parity among male and female cricketers is also on his mind.
I'll get some clarity here to you. At the international level, the pay parity has been brought about by the BCCI. So today the players' fees, the match fees, etc. is all at par. Retainers are all at par. Even in the domestic season, there is a big amount of pay parity that has been brought by. Now, we're also seeing match fees to be paid during the Premier League. Based on our own financial health, to be very candid, are also looking to explore domestic contracts. Why should players of a certain appetite of cricket or a certain quality of cricket that they deliver not have the option of being contracted to play? They play for the state. They should. We're trying to incentivize it. So it's something that is in consideration, and hopefully we should at some point of time.
All this sounds well. The successful conclusion of the first edition of the Delhi Premier League is ample evidence domestic leagues could be a success. However, when it comes to cricket, like many other things, the allegation of corruption and favoritism during selection are issues that also need to be addressed.
When you say selection related issues, we've been over the years, over the last 3 years now, we have now from a trial based system of nets where players are called in, they are seen by selectors in the nets, bowling, batting, etc. We've now switched over to real game standards. What does that mean? Now there's an under 16 league, there's an under 19 league, there's a regular league that you run through the year. About 3 years ago, when we brought about the change in the under 16 and the 19, the junior cricket, to put it very candidly, we ended up qualifying in the advanced stages of the domestic tournaments after 7-8 years. What was the change? The change was only the system, and the process that was adopted now was different to what was being used earlier. So you have 80 clubs who do age cricket in the club structure of the association who participated. You had about 1,000 boys who came in for the selections. They played matches. They were all given 3 matches. Thereon, there was a criteria set in. They were shortlisted to a smaller pool. There were about 8-10 teams made. Then there were, about 15 teams made. They were then given a second round of games. Then based on that, a smaller. So when you start reducing a pool size on performance, then the chance of going wrong is fairly limited.
The future of domestic leagues seems promising. To make room for games and provide world-class infrastructure for the talented, the DDCA is also planning to build another stadium in the national capital. Did you watch the Delhi Premier League matches? What do you think about the quality of cricket played during the league? Don't forget to share your thoughts with us in the comment section.